Good morning everyone. Today's topic is infrared radiation. Now we learn about what is the infrared radiation, types of infrared radiation, what are the indications and contraindications and uses of infrared radiation. Let's start with the definition of infrared radiation. Radiation. What is radiation? The process of emitting energy in the waves from source and portion of the electromagnetic spectrum with a wavelength of 780 nanometer to 1000 nanometer. So what are the infrared radiations? What are the radiation in them? So gamma radiation, X-ray radiation, ultraviolet radiation, visible light, infrared, microwave, and radio wave. These all are the waves. Now we learn about the production of infrared. The infrared is produced as a result of molecular motion within heated materials. All hot bodies emit IR. As increase the temperature of any material above epsilon 0 result in vibration and rotation of the molecule within the material. The wavelength of the emitted IR are determined by the temperature of the material. The higher the temperature of the body, the higher the frequency and the shorter the wavelength. Frequency is inversely proportional to wavelength. What are the types of IR generators? There are two types of IR generator. First is luminous generator and the second one is the non-luminous generator. Now we discuss about the luminous and non-luminous generator. First we discuss about the luminous generator. So what is luminous generator? It is an electrically heated filament made of tungsten filament within the glass bulb which contain as an inert gas at lower pressure. Part of the glass bulb is silvered to provide a reflector. Luminous source emit mainly the short or near IR, visible light or ultraviolet. Second type is non-luminous generator. Non-luminous sources are those which produce the infrared radiation from a non-glowing source such as a moist heat pack and a non-luminous IR lamp. Non-luminous infrared lamps consist of a cold resistance wire which embedded with the ceramic insulating materials. Non-luminous sources emit mainly long or far IR radiation. The figure of the IR array. First is the infrared lamp, or second types non-luminous infrared lamp. What are the physiological effects of infrared radiation? The first is cutaneous vasodilation, increase in metabolism, increase nerve conduction velocity, neurological effects, pain control, effect on connective tissue. So now we start discuss about the cutaneous vasodilation. How cutaneous vasodilation is occurred? With the heating with the IR leads to vasodilation of the blood vessel as a result of release of chemical mediators, histamine-like substance, axon reflex mechanism. Vasodilation causes increased blood flow in the cutaneous circulation. Second is increase in metabolism. The increased temperature by IR leads to increase the metabolic activities within the superficial tissue due to a direct effect on heat on chemical process in this cell. Increased metabolic activities leads to improved cell function and improved tissue healing. What are the neurological effects of IR? First, the heat production by IR leads to pain relief. What are the factors to relieve in the pain? The stimulation of sensory nerves. In sensory nerves, A beta fibers are there. So, when IR apply on the skin, IR effect on the skin. So sensory nerves are stimulation and lead to inhibition of pain at the level of the spinal cord. Decrease activity of muscle spindle leading to relaxation of the muscle. Removal of the waste products as a result of improving circulation and increased venous return, thus removing the source of pain and stimulation. Effect on connecting tissue. The heat effect of IRI is to increase the extensibility of connective tissue and therefore it used prior to exercise to increase the range of motion, stretching and mobilization exercise. In athletic person now in athletic persons the stretching and mobility of the particular muscle is important. So before any sports activity we try to apply iron on this particular area so their area of the flexibility increase, so range of motion of the particular part are increased. What are the absorption of IR? Intensity reaching the skin is greatest when first the radiation beam is perpendicular to the skin surface. When the head of the IR is perpendicular to the skin, the absorption of the IR is more. Second, IRR is strongly absorbed near the skin surface and the heat is carried to a deeper tissue by conduction and by the circulating fluid. Third, the absorption and penetration of IRR rays depend on first wavelength of the rays, second angle of the incidence of the rays, third the intensity of the emitting source, fourth the distance of the radiating source from the tissue. Which factor IR depends on the absorption. So first wavelength of the rays. Which are the wavelength of the rays? Depends or angle of incidence of the rays. When the angle is passes through a skin, the intensity of emitting source. High in IR, high intensity or low intensity of rays depends on the distance of the radiating source from the tissue and in which distance IR lamp is applied. Absorption coefficients. IR absorption coefficients are mainly affected by the skin color. Darker skin will absorb more. Darken the skin, more melanin factor are there, so the absorption are more in the darkened skin. Absorption is affected by the amount of melanin in the skin. Darkened skin absorb more radiation than the lightened skin. Second, skin texture. Different type of skin textures are there. So rough skin and the IRR absorption depends on the skin texture or third is type of skin, dry skin or a smoothness of skin. Adverse effect of IR radiation. Dries the skin more other modalities, does not treat uneven body parts well due to uneven heating. In body part like applied in the small joint or applied in the uneven joint, so heat are not produced or affect properly in the particular part, so if adverse effect are produced by this point. In this IR two main laws are interconnected with this electromagnetic radiation. First is Arnold-Kruger's principle. So no reaction or change can occur in the body tissue if the amount of energy absorbed is insufficient to stimulate the absorbing tissue. And even here apply in the no effect are when the amount of energy is absorbed is insufficient or more modified, or there are small amount of IRR length of line, so no effect are there. Second law is Grotthus law. If the energy is not absorbed by the superficial tissue, it will penetrate to the deeper tissue. The rays must be absorbed to produce the effect. Effect will be produced at the point at which the rays are absorbed. When the IRR lamps apply in or not penetrate the superficial tissue, it affects the deeper tissue and absorbed by the deeper tissue. Cosine law. The cosine law states that the smaller the angle between the propagating the rays and the right angle, the less radiation reflect and the greater absorption. In this point, when the angle is small, the more amount of energy are absorbed. Inverse value states that the intensity of the radiation striking the particular surface varies inversely with the square of the distance from the scope. And method of application we discuss with the next lecture. Now we revise which topics are covered in today's lecture. Now start with the first. What is the definition of IRR and what are the two types of IRR? What is the IRR? Basics of IRR is produced as a result of molecular motion when occur. The IRR effect is produced. What are the two types of IRR? So mainly two types. There are luminous type and non-luminous generator. Luminous generator there are bulb type it is a bulb type filament, and the second is non-luminous is the non-luminous generator. In non-luminous generator, it made up with the tungsten filament. What are the physiological effects? There are 5 physiological effects: cutaneous vasodilation, increased metabolism, increased nerve conduction velocity, neurological effect on connective tissue. There are the main 5 effects of the. What are the absorption of IR? Absorption intensity reaching the skin is greater when the radiation beam is penetration higher, strongly absorbed. And what are the factor of depends on the absorption? So there are 4 factors depends on the absorption of IR. First is the wavelength of rays, angle of incidence of rays, and third, intensity of the emitting source, the distance of the radiating source from the tissue. What are the adverse effect of IRR? Dries the skin more than other modalities. So dry skin in the comparison of other modality, the IRR can more dry the skin. Does not treat uneven body parts due to uneven heating. There are few laws: Andron-Cruz principle, Grotthus law, cosine law, and both inverse square law. Okay, thank you.